DC is a key piece to this puzzle, you know? One of those, like, underrated gems that'll shine even in the darkest moments. Me personally, I've seen him transition into a great young man over the past few years. And I can honestly say that I'm proud of him. From destroying the odds and changing his narrative, not allowing anyone or anything to stunt his growth in any way, shape, or form. He demands his respect at the highest level, but is no stranger when it comes to showing others theirs. Many admire this guy, including myself, whether it be his story, his music, or even his brand. He has a gift that connects him with people from all walks of life. So my team and I took a deeper dive into the mind of this young creator. And it just so happens that we learned some new things along the way. Not just about him and his story, but about ourselves as well. Just like any other time you tune in to Prime Example TV, I hope you walk away with some gems and a rush of motivation from the stories we're about to tell. Welcome to Prime Example TV. Today we introduce a new theme, Artist vs. Human, with my boy, Stay Down Boy Forever DC. Today's episode, we're gonna do a deep dive into an artist, not just the artist, but the more human side of everything, and just the mental journey, the mental rise that an everyday artist has to go through. Kick it off like this. Out of 10, how you doing mentally?
10 every time.
Right now today?
10.
Yeah, how is that? Why is that and how is that?
Man, it's another day. That's all I can really say, you know what I'm saying? So every day should be a 10, as long as you're here, as long as you're healthy.
But I know some fans want to know, do you see yourself as a rapper yet?
Nah. So, I'll never consider myself a rapper. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Langston Hughes, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a poet. You know what I'm saying? I just express how I feel. I could say though, when I first started with the music, I was rapping. Because, you know what I'm saying, a rapper is just like somebody who just talks and just makes music. But then once you start really doing it on a level where it's like, all right, I'm actually telling a story. I just tell stories for real, how I'm feeling during that day, or really just tell a story about what I see.
How would you say your journey was, just say kicking that dough down, from making your first song to just getting into it? From there to now, like, what would you say about your journey?
So when I first did it, it was kind of more just like for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's kind of like a difference. We both play basketball. You know, when you just hooping for fun and then you really hooping. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like actually trying to do something with it, it's just a big difference. So a year or two, for real, nigga was just going through the motions. I ain't really dropping. I'm dropping, but I'm not. And then I was like a little phase where I was dropping a lot, but I wasn't really like putting in no effort. You feel me? It was just go to the studio, get high. Whatever I want to say, I'm just going to say it. I don't really care
100%.
what people think. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't like enough. You feel me? I'm the type of person, if I feel like I'm doing something, it should be to the level to where people going to be like, oh, he really doing it. You feel me? And then I had hella supporters behind that. So it's like, I'm not finna be doing something that people really support the movement that's false. You feel me? I was rapping about nothing. So I started taking it serious. Like, all right, let me actually really say something. So then I started with the poetry, you know what I'm saying? I treat it like Silent Night every time I get in the studio. You feel me? With the snaps, you know what I'm talking about? That's how I try to do it now. To where it's like, you hear it and you be like, all right, this could be a caption, or I could really take something from this song instead of just being like, oh, okay, now my head the beats like this nigga murder, kill, sex and drugs. Like, nah.
Just to piggyback off that, not even to cut you off, because you is from Oakland, California, we know the type of music we listen to.
For sure.
How did you get into that lane? Like, people tell me all the time, my lane is a little different and it sticks. You coming in especially in our era right now, it's bang bang, shoot 'em up.
For sure.
Money gold.
So what made me really realize, I had a lot of sessions where I would be in the studio with people who, of course, rap about, you know, the usual regular stuff that people rap about. And then I would put my verse and they'll put their verse, and just a mixture of it, you would tell like, all right, they're on two different lanes, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, I had to start really noticing like, yeah, these might slap. People say they slap, but it's not real good music. We're not even talking about the same thing. We're not connecting, so it's like it ain't making sense. So that's why I started saying like, all right, I might as well just do it on my own or find people who really rap about the same thing.
For sure. What's something you struggled with or overcame in the process of you starting rapping and to where you are now? I ain't gonna say rapping. You start making your art. Yeah. What's something you struggled with or you overcame?
It's a good question. Well, when it comes to art in general, it's just all it is just a platform for you to express yourself. So I can say the biggest challenge that I did or that I met throughout this whole process of expressing myself is probably being worried about another opinion. And I'm not saying like I care about what people think, but it's like a more of a acceptance thing. Because I know for a fact a lot of the things that I do is not normal or it's looked at differently to certain people. So I had to start thinking like, oh well, I want to be 50-50. I know I could do it the way I do it, but I want to make it to where it's for everybody. But so then I was like, nah, that's not really how it's supposed to be. I'm expressing myself, not for somebody. So you feel me? Like I just took that whole mindset away. Now I just, feel me? I could literally be thinking about how I feel about something. I'll make a song or I'll make a new drop. Yeah, people will agree with it. Oh, I was just going through something similar. I was actually really just going through it and just drew this out.
So I heard you talk about earlier, you was talking about before you start, I say, making your art with a purpose, you was just getting in there and doing it. I heard you say you was already getting in paragraphs. And people just hitting you. People, hey, I'm this, that.
So with that, damn. I used to literally make songs, like, I listen to them now, bro. If somebody plays them, I'm like, turn that off, bro. Like, it's to the point where if it didn't still give me a little bit of money on the little thing that I have, I would have deleted it. But it's like, I also want to keep it up just to show the growth. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I don't know. A lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, just with the whole Stay Down Welfare movement in general, a whole bunch of people I don't know has it in their names, put it in their bios. Cause it's a movement, it's a lifestyle, like, feel me? It's not something, I didn't just make it to where it's like, oh, that's me. Nah, like, everybody's living those 4 words every day, whatever they're doing. So, I just started feeling like, oh, I got people watching, I got people trying to take after what I'm doing, I got people who really aren't inspired by what I'm doing, so if I'm just moving falsely, that's just gonna make it somebody want to move false too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not about to put out a narrative that I don't even want to live. You know what I'm saying?
So you realize my point of asking that was you realized you had an influence.
Yeah.
You realized your voice, you were being heard. People were paying attention.
Yeah.
So you stopped putting out the dumb stuff.
Yeah. Nah, it's dumb for sure because it's like ain't no context to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, what really made me notice, I purposely would show it to older people. They'll tell you the truth. Like, oh yeah, okay, it sounds good, but what are you talking about? They'll tell you that. You feel what I'm saying? You show it to somebody young, they, oh, this slap, the beat slap. Oh, you tripping, brother? Nah. You feel me? So I'm showing it to grannies and aunties and people who gonna really be like, yeah, you need to challenge yourself to really talk about something. Your story better than that. Yeah, you probably, you know what I'm saying? Because I've always included little things, little messages, but it'd be like the unnecessary stuff that I add to it. It'd be like, all right, well, they ain't really hearing that. Now it's from beginning to end. Everything I'm saying is at least trying to say something. You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of people on the outside looking in, they think growing up in the hood is just all bad. Mm-hmm. But in reality, when you grow up in that type of environment, you get to be around every type of person there is. Mm-hmm. So how would you say that type of vibe helped you more than it had a negative impact on you? What did you learn from that? What did you take away from it?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, this might sound corny, but me personally, I really dislike the word hood. Feel what I'm saying? I feel like all that is just a perception. Cause it's like, all right, this is a hood. When you put a hood on, usually, you trying to hide something. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the hood is just people who's hidden, or them finding themselves it's hidden from them. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, all right.
You always hear that, like, I grew up in the hood, I ain't been to the beach, or I ain't been out
exactly.
the
And that plays a big part, because it's like, all right, a lot of people try to say, oh, I'm from the hood, and they try to use that as a reason why they're not in a certain place. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I know so many people who don't even care about the hood. You won't, if they're in a different environment, you won't know where they're from. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm one of those people, like, you know, I've never been around a lot of stuff, but me personally, like, I just dislike it. Like, people who act like a certain way. Yeah, okay, it's okay to protect yourself and carry yourself a certain way, especially when you where you are. You know what I'm saying? We're in Oakland, but it's like you don't gotta go to the extent to where you're. It interrupts with how you act. You know what I'm saying? It should never. Nobody should ever be like uncomfortable around you just because you feel like you have to protect yourself. Like, okay, bro, that doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like, oh, well, he's always mad. He's tense. Like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's being from the hood should really give you more of a push. It's like, all right, I came from less. So I don't really want to say hood. I could say probably coming from less. Probably a better way to put it.
Just being in that, say, how would you describe? I just say that environment.
They environment where it's harder to make it out. You know what I'm saying?
What would you take from? What did you take from it?
What did I take from it? So basically, it's just literally crabs in a bucket. So I mean, you find your way out of that. You know, so many people try to hold you down, and then it's like when you do better for yourself, there's so many people who's mad at you or try to block you from really getting to where you want to be. When you start to really notice it, then you really kind of lower your sense of how much you respect the hood or whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? It's really just used as I took from it really just, I used it as a game, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a learning lesson. It's like, all right, I see what not to do. All right, I see so many people going to jail. I see people dying. I see people, families struggling still, and they just in the house struggling with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so nah, bro.
They normalize it.
Every day when I leave or I'm on a phone call, I tell everybody in my family, like, it ain't finna be long. Like, we not living like this for long. Like, I'm telling you. But I see other people that just be like, man, nah, bro, like, go change the narrative, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm not the type of person who will sit and see the same thing every day and not get tired of it. You know what I'm saying? That's when I start to really notice, like, all right, I have to change this. You know what I'm saying? So what I take from it is change, really. That's all I take from it.
Is it hard trying to maintain a positive mindset in that type of environment?
Well, I tell everybody like this, no matter where you are, we batteries. So I say, honestly, it's better if you're in a negative, because I don't look at it as a negative, but to the public eye, you know what I'm saying, that's a negative place to be. I feel like to be in a negative place, as long as you're the positive, that's where you're supposed to be. Because life's about balance, you know what I'm saying? Batteries, nothing gonna work without the positive and the negative. You know what I'm saying? Like it get deep. So I mean, I know that I'm the positive, so that's just how I look at it. I'm supposed to be here. And so sometimes I sit back and I just be laughing like, man, I'm literally supposed to be here. Like, but
even though it be
have to be here. Yeah. It was a point where I wasn't looking at it like that. And I would be like, man, nah, but you're supposed to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't question it. You just got to do what you're supposed to do, which is change the narrative. That's literally what
a lot of people don't. I would say a lot of people don't look. They don't look at it like this, from my knowledge. Mm-hmm. But when it's time for you to get about your area, you're gonna be able to do it, or you're gonna have. It's gonna be a tough decision because that's what you know.
So honestly, the only reason why I haven't left my area is just because the way I'm forming my business. I want to master my city first before I just let it go. You know what I'm saying? So
your market,
my legacy has to be at a certain place, but I'm on what? Probably I think today would be the 80s, like 7th day. You know what I'm saying? I did 99 days where it's like 100%. I'm gonna be in a way different position I was 99 days ago. So I'm saying, so I'm on like day 87. So I feel like
that's hard, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm definitely ready to leave. If I was need to leave, can leave, definitely. That's not the issue. Right now, it's just kind of like I'm branded. It's not really an issue. I'm moving a certain way, but I'm really kind of like in solitary confinement right now to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Just the way I move, like I'm really just focused on me. So I'm not really out here anyways. You know what I'm saying? You feel I'm not accessible. And then when I am, it's kind of like, all right, he's here. You know what I'm saying? And I be telling people, I'm telling you, like, this shit, it's really crazy. I always tell people when I'm just around them, I'm like, man, like, just remember this. Like, I tell people that every day. Because life ain't even been feeling real for, like, the last, like, 60 days, probably. It's just been feeling like something gonna change. I don't know what it is. I've been saying it, too, like, to everybody. Like, man, it just feel different. Like, everything's just crazy. But in a good way, though. Yeah. So I just be telling people, like, bro, take a picture right now or something. Go get a piece of paper. Do it. I'm finna write this for you. Like, I don't know.
I had posted this on my Instagram story some months ago. I chopped it up with a real successful dude, and I was like, how did you get here? He's same skin color as us. I'm like, how did you get here? Mm-hmm. And what was the process like? And he was like, he looked at me because he had to see if I was serious. And he told me some of the realest things that I heard this year, I said. Mm-hmm. He told me that everything that I thought was normal was not gonna be that no more.
Nah, for sure.
If you keep going, if you keep rising, the trajectory keep going up, nothing that you thought it was is gonna be that no more. You're gonna lose a lot of friends, you're gonna lose a lot of family. People gonna think you weird, they gonna think you crazy for believing what you believe in.
100%.
But you know what you know. So how has that been?
Man, hey.
Keep it gangster.
It get crazy, like when you really is putting in the effort to make a change to your own life, and people see it, man, they hate it. You know what I'm saying? Whether they act like they love it or not, people don't like self-growth. They don't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even just life in general, though, it's just what it is with the balance. Like I was just saying, when you really feel like you getting to a certain level, you know what I'm saying? If you putting yourself on a higher pedestal, life gives you every reason why to feel like you're going back down or to ruin that mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's all just a mental control thing. So it's like, all right, yeah, I don't look at it nothing in a bad way. Losing friends, losing family, people thinking weird. I mean, it's not got to the point people done said like, you know what I'm saying? I did like that little food fast thing, just on some mental control thing. I stopped smoking woods and stuff like that for good. People were saying I'm laced. You know what I'm saying? And it was just funny because it's like, it'd be the same people who would sit there and smoke their head off. I'm laced because I'm making a change for myself. You know what I'm saying? And it gets that deep though. And it's like, if you're really not ready for it, it'll break you. Yeah, it'll break you for sure.
You'll go right back to what you thought was normal.
What you thought was normal. Just because everybody around you makes it normal. And so that's when you gotta make that choice where it's like, all right, everybody around me telling me what I'm doing is wrong. Is it wrong? No, it's not. If it's what you want to do, it can never be wrong.
And that's kind of how you know. They always be like, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, but it's a little deeper than that. Yeah. If you ain't got the people that you just say your crowd. If a couple of them ain't be like, what is this? What is this? Yeah. You know you're doing something. You know you're doing something that's different.
It's something I told it was like a younger dude, he was trying to like start a business, and I was telling him, he was like, man, like you always start a new business and like how do you go with what people think? I'm like, man, I can tell you this, bro. It's not even like a hater thing. If people don't have something to say in general, like good or bad, then you're not doing something. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at it like whether somebody's saying something bad or good, it's criticism. You know what I'm saying? It's everything is a mental note. It could be a homeless person. Like I take every conversation as like I was supposed to hear this, whether it was some negative or positive. Like I was supposed to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Every conversation, every person, every hand I shake, all of that. Like you feel me? So I just look at it as a gift, for real, to even be able to hear it and see this every day.
A lot of people don't look at it like that because a lot of people haven't accepted their life as their journey yet. People sum it up and say they living to die, they just living, they doing this. I often see with my peers, man, everybody getting messed up on the weekends.
Not for sure.
They working all week to go get messed up on the weekend and do it all over again.
No, yeah.
They're not understanding that the simplest thing as a as a waitress saying something small to you, you're supposed to hear that for a reason. You're supposed to hear it and you're supposed to apply it. So it all makes sense. It all sums up into something for real. Started off talking about how you're an artist and how you make your art. When did you come out with the merch? That just boomed. That just boomed.
So 2018, 2019-ish, it was Stay Down to come up how we started. Well, I started. But I like to say we because it's like the brand and me.
Yeah.
Like I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm a brand, not a person. So bam, started off and Stay Down to come up. The original design was like some stairs. You know what I'm saying? I started at the bottom and that was like it was me at the bottom, me in the middle, me at the top, which I'm gonna probably reincorporate again because I never dropped it. It was just like an idea. And then I kind of just started living like that. All right, Stay Down, come up, Stay Down, come up. Then as it got a little bigger, you know what I'm saying, I started kind of building like a narrative around it. I'm like, I can't really keep saying come up. So let me just change something about it. I'm like, Stay Down is definitely the beginning for sure, because you gotta stay down for whatever you want. Then I'm like, all right, stay down, ball forever. Then I'm like, I ain't gonna just make this about money. So at first it was really just kind of balling oriented, like just ball, the word ball, because it's like it's not only just hooping or only like balling with money. You could ball, you could have a ball. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many ways you can use that word. So then it was like, all right, we'll ball forever now. Because it's like I seen something where it was like you could have $100 million or you could impact 100 different lives. Which one is worth more? You get what I'm saying? And I mean, of course, you want to die with 100 million, but you could die with 100 million and just die with 100 million.
Still feel empty.
You feel what I'm saying? And nobody cared. You know, just you die rich. But if you die with $1 million and you made 100 other people millionaires, that's going to be something that'll never be forgotten. So you feel what I'm saying? It's just all about legacy to me. 2020, I probably got back. I had did like a little, I don't know if you remember the OG ones where it just said SDBF right here.
Got two.
Yeah, so I did that one really just to start the movement. I was just trying to, you know what I'm saying, get the word out here. Have people following the movement. So then I would say probably what? 2022-ish is when it was like, all right, let me really do this. Then this year, it was like, all right, let me really lock on. Like, it's really people behind this movement. So I started really just putting more of a story behind the clothes instead of just dropping clothes.
Yeah. So anybody can drop. It's what's behind it.
Behind it for sure.
The energy that you do put into whatever your build is, whatever you're creating, is gonna come out within your supporters. Like I had somebody tell me the other night, I'm just telling him what Prime Example is. He like, bro, I love it, bro. And your energy, I feel like I can talk to you about it. Yeah. And that's the audience I'm going for. So the audience, I mean, the creativity and the energy you put into your work is going to show by who coming to support you. You done told me you sold out. I'm sold out already, brother. It's bad.
Yeah.
Feel me? And just I seen you in action for doing ship-offs and stuff. Like,
sure.
That's what it is.
To elaborate on that with the whole story thing, honestly, I feel the most creative when I went through something. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
For example, that Better Off Alone drop I did a Better Off Alone drop. That was literally like, the day that I created that, I like just started looking at all the people around me differently. I'm like, man, like, ain't nobody really contributed to what I'm doing for real. You know what I'm saying? I think I was with you earlier that week. We was with my partner and he was like, he was trying to argue whether it was wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna really get into that. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just like when I really sit there alone, that's when I probably really be like, all right, let me really draw some stuff out. Let me write some ideas. That's when like the light come on for real.
You call it the light for sure. I ain't had no name for it. I tell everybody, I don't sit there and what can I do for Prime Example? It come to me, bro. It just come, and when it come, I'm typing it, I'm writing it, I'm drawing it, whatever it is. How would you say you use the hustler mentality that you already have from just growing up where you come from and everything into the corporate world?
Man, it keeps seeming like I'm not agreeing with your choice of words, but I don't use the word hustle either though. I think I already told you that.
You told me that for sure.
Cause it's like,
like,
you know, ball on the ground, you go hustle for it, you chasing it. So I mean, but to elaborate what you're saying though, as somebody who's just For sure, the word hustle, yeah. In the corporate world, it's the same thing. It's just your crowd is different. You know what I'm saying? So it's no difference if I'm selling it to you or if I'm selling it to somebody who's supposedly in the corporate world. You know what I'm saying? It's just the only difference is they might look at it differently. You see what I'm saying? But I can sell dirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? You done seen me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just use the mentality of somebody is going to be interested in what you have to do, regardless. So I'm saying that's why I tell people just do what you love. Somebody's going to, enjoy it. Whether it's taking videos of yourself, cutting hair, playing basketball, playing football, making clothes, rapping, singing, dancing, whatever it is, somebody's going to be interested. It's like a whole bunch of people in this world. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at them the same. I don't make it no different.
Everybody, I respect it. I respect it. Your audience is your audience.
Yeah.
How would you say, from when we was younger, we always wanted to make it, so-called make it. We wanted to get to what we was trying to get to. And right now, you have a lane. I've had people who I thought was way more successful than me in life, and they see that I have a prime example, and they're like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I had. I'm like, dang. So how would you say, I ain't gonna say you got everything that you work for, but you at a point where you working towards a major goal. How does it feel to be in that type of light right now?
Well, I feel like I made it. Just because...
Hey, 100% though. Like, in my eyes, for sure.
But just because, not even just because of where I am to the public eye or even to myself, just because it's like when you get to a certain realization mentally, that's when I feel like you made it. See what I'm saying? Because it got nothing to do with what you achieved or nothing like that or what you have. You know what I'm saying? Because I know like people who have nothing who really got like that mental. Like my grandpa, for example, is like one of the wisest people I know, but he don't really got money like that. Then there's people with money who don't have no, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the whole make it thing is kind of just like a mental thing. You get to a certain place mentally, then I feel like that's when you're going to really make it, because then it's like, what can stop you? You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, because I always say the currency don't really matter. The currency, it plays a part in it, but that has nothing to do with me obtaining the levels of life that I'm trying to reach.
Exactly.
I be saying, y'all seen that thing, it's like motion and progress. Motion, you can have motion and stay in the same spot, but you progress, that's a whole different type of ball game.
Yeah.
But when I say I made it, I don't think the same way as who I was in the field with. I don't think the same way as my partners are still out there doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm in a whole different, I'm in a whole different wavelength right now, bro.
Yeah.
And to me, I made it, because I used to think so low.
So low, yeah.
So low,
so yeah, that's a big part in just life in general. Once you start to really see all sides of everything, you for sure made it. Because it's like, for example, attitudes, things like attitudes or getting mad, right? I feel like I've mastered anger. You know what I'm saying? Simple stuff like that. Like, I don't get mad at certain things because it's like, they're supposed to happen. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you can get to a certain place mentally, then you for sure made it.
It's all a part of it. Everything is full circle. It's part of the journey. The sooner you acknowledge that it's a part of your journey and who you are supposed to become, the sooner it'll click for you, I say. Everything will connect. Connect with the word. Everything will connect. I tell people older than me that I'm 22. I was 20, 21 telling people like, hey, slow down and look at the situation. What you're supposed to learn from the situation. You so worried about the negatives, what's supposed to happen, what should happen. Learn from yourself within this situation. Yeah. And as soon as you start connecting the dots like that, everything becomes a whole lot more simple.
Last thing I could elaborate on that is just kind of like, all right, with money and mental, right? You can have $1 million with 1 million problems and not know how to obtain them. You know what I'm saying? Not know how to deal with that. Or you got $1 million, but on the way to $1 million, you learned how to master your mental issues and how to really, you know what I'm saying, deal with certain things. I'd rather take it slow and learn how to deal with my problems than, all right, now I just got $1 million, but I'm stressing every day. I don't know how to do certain stuff because it's like I never took the time to really sit there and be like, all right, man, I woke up today. I'm in a better place than I was last month. You know what I'm saying? You got to just start really appreciating everything, like the small things, the big things, and that'll just take you different places mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Like this. You know, the football field is 10, 20, 30, 40 yards. A lot of people say, 3 of us in this room right now, 3 of us could wake up with $1 million, $2 million tomorrow morning, one of us gonna keep going with it. The second person gonna spend half of it.
For sure.
The third one gonna blow it. It's gonna be over with.
Sure.
Just because he didn't know what it was. So the 10, 20, 30, 40 yard line, my meaning behind that, slow and steady always get the job done.
Nah,
You can keep going 10, 20, 30, 40. Somebody can go 60 and bounce right back to 0. If you go 10, 20, 30, 40, you're going to come back to at least, say at the 40, you're going to come back to 30 or 20. But you still got that same game that you got from there. You can keep going forward. What would be your advice to a little boy that came up that's playing basketball right now, AAU in Vegas? He think it's hoop or nothing. What would be your advice to him?
It'd definitely be, the biggest thing is be yourself, for sure. Like, control your thoughts, don't let your thoughts control you, for sure. Like, and then don't ever let another person or a problem like interfere with, you know, your own plan.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So them like the main 3 things that like I would probably tell a kid right now, so they can just keep going.
What's a real goal you have for yourself within the next 365 days?
365 days. So 365 days, man. I'm thinking about the next 87. But 365 definitely would be
Where do you see yourself in the next year?
the next year. If I didn't impact the amount of days it is in a year in people, so if 365 days, if I didn't impact 365 lives, then I have to redo my whole year over again. I just wasted a year. You feel what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm already on that path, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I know that's gonna happen, so I see myself just being at a higher level with the influence.
Hey, that's raw, because most times when I ask people where they see themselves in the next year, it's something materialistic. It's something like, oh, I see myself in here, or I'm finna have this, I'm finna have that. Not what I can do for the next person. Absolutely, 100%.
I don't really have to say like what I'm gonna have, because it's like I was telling you earlier, the difference between believing and knowing is like 2 different things. Like I could believe I'm gonna be rich. Like nah, I know that. So it ain't no point in me being like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna have $1 million in 365 days. Nah, like that's not nothing I'm have to say. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna have that. So I'd rather talk about something that I'm really actually working towards, which is impacting people's lives. And the money is gonna always be there for sure as long as you're working.
My last question to you is, what's one word you would use to describe yourself? Your answer too fast.
Myself. One word I'll use would definitely be thriving or thrive, because it's like, you know, continuous growth. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're growing, you're doing fine. You know what I'm saying? Just learn from every loss or every failure. Just learn, just grow. That's it.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm pretty sure we all done took a lot away from this particular interview. But I want to commend you on what you're doing. And I appreciate you for being on the channel.
Sure.
Prime Example TV, introducing artists very human. I'm glad y'all got to look at it from a different lens and just rapping and being behind the camera and being on Instagram. You got to chop it up and see what's behind this man's mental. You never know what somebody has to give. You never know what somebody's been through. But we're doing this all for the right reason. It's a mental health awareness brand for a reason. We're doing our part. You see how he pointed out, in the next 365 days, he wants to help 365 people become better, no matter if it's money motivated, anything. He wants to help them strive to get something else. If we can all get on that same train, you know how much better outside it'll be, how much safer it'll be, how much it'll be turned, I ain't gonna lie. If everybody get on the same type of wavelength and we all pushing positivity, we all pushing each other, lifting each other up, it'll be crazy. Welcome to Prime Example TV.
Come up kinda is just like some lucky shit, you feel me? Nigga come up on something, you damn near got lucky. So I just was thinking of some other shit. I'm like, damn, if they don't ball forever kinda sound more just intriguing. You get what I'm saying? Cause it's like, some niggas be like, alright, when you gone, you gone. Feel me? I'm the type of nigga, I'm thinking of leaving a legacy when I'm gone. So ball forever kinda is like the legacy. Stay down is like what you gotta do before you get to the ball forever, you see what I'm saying? Staying down is like, just gotta wait for whatever your opportunity is, for real, to ball forever. It ain't really just money, to me. That's why I ask people when I sell them my clothes, like, yeah, all right, stay down, ball for what does it mean to you? Because everybody got a different meaning, you feel me, to that shit. It ain't all just stay down for some money. You could be staying down to succeed in school. It's hella different ways you can stay down to ball forever.
Yeah, you just not limiting yourself to one thing.
Yeah, to one thing. Nah, hell no. Don't just work a job to work a job. You feel me? Stay down so you can put into whatever you really want to do. Because if you're just working to work, yeah, stay down. I done stayed down for the 2 pairs of Vans for 60. And you got to make your way to the 60 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just always something. It's always a goal. Just stay down for your true goals. Don't rush it. It ain't gonna happen overnight.